a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.
Yo, what's going on? It's the Big D from the Big D channel. This is the Divorce News Daily segment, and we're doing something a little different today. We got a little different setup here. Still using my iPhone, but I was not happy with the way that the audio was sounding. A lot of white noise in the background, just ambient noise in the background. I was like, okay, this is not going to work. So I had to jump in here, grab my blue ball, which I don't know if you can see that here, or my snowball anyway. And, you know, I think the sound is going to be just a little bit better. Hopefully this setup will work a little bit better. So I invite you to check out the other videos, but from now on, I think we're going to have a little better quality. I'm in the black and white today because that's just how I'm feeling. That's just how it's going down, just playing with some of the stuff here, the little tools and a little fun. So we're going to use the computer to record these. I won't have to stop every 2 minutes or whatever to keep the file size down or whatever. Hopefully the quality is just where we want it to be. But let's jump right in here and check out what The Dead Man has to say. He's in the divorce Reddit here. He says he's newly divorced. So is it just me, or after my divorce, I've observed that people often view a divorced man like an unwanted refurbished phone, whereas a divorced woman is seen as slightly used phone that everybody wants. This actually reflects a societal bias and affecting how each view navigates life after marriage. So not exactly what that last sentence meant, but we can kind of formulate it to make it work for us, right? So he's saying there's a societal bias here, and it does affect how we view and how we navigate life after a marriage fails, right? So I can say for personal experience, I was kind of given the weight of the divorce upon my shoulders, you know, from a lot of people. You know, a lot of people just decided that obviously you did something in order for this divorce to occur. And I'm like, yo, I ain't do nothing. Like, it wasn't me. Like, this is something she wanted. This is something she initiated. She took the steps to make it happen. It was not something that I wanted. So, you know, but, you know, they always attribute the demise to the man. And I feel like that's biased. I feel like they shouldn't be, you know, everybody shouldn't be asking, well, what did you do? You know, well, why you don't ask me what she did? You know, so, you know, there's three sides to every story and there's truth on every side. But why don't ever ask, like, what she did? You know what I'm saying? So I think I get what he's saying is like, yo, like, you know, don't make it all my fault. Like, don't make it look like I'm the one that did something. And then, you know, my value is still here. Like, I still got value too, right? So as a man, even though I'm divorced or whatever, I got a lot of value still left. So, you know, I'm not the unwanted phone. You know what I'm saying? I might actually be the one that people want. So, you know, I might have more features and more things that I can bring to the table. You know, so, you know, a woman though is once she's back on the market or whatever, there's always going to be some dude that's going to jump in there, try to holler at her. So there's nothing you can do about that, really. She's going to get more attention just on the nature of the fact that she's a woman, and dudes, you know, dudes will thirst after just about anything. So that's just the nature of it. Men, we got to work a little harder. We got to make ourselves presentable. You know, we got to dress right. We got to have, you know, a little bit of money in the bank. We got to have a car, a house, or whatever, just kind of a place to be on our own or whatever, or it's going to be difficult. So we got to accept that. Don't worry about it. You know, don't be too concerned with it. Now, Dennis Ball Show did write a response to that. He said, I don't really think this is the case. Most people are not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. I find that a little comforting. So yeah, we got to remember that too. It's kind of like when you get a new car and, you know, you driving down the street and then all of a sudden you start noticing how many other people have the same car that you have, right? Might be different colors and different models or whatever like that, but they got the same car that you had. So, but you didn't notice it until you actually bought the car, right? Or you decided that you wanted to buy the car, then you start seeing it, right? right? So nothing like seeing the car a few times or whatever, like you riding through or whatever, you seeing the car, whoa, like that's the car that I want, so you start seeing it a lot. So it kind of encourages you to go buy, right? Same with that, same with lots of things, man. You might have the same pair of sneakers as somebody or whatever. You walking down the street and then realize, oh wow, look at, they got the same sneakers I got. You only notice because it affects you, right? Because you're involved at this point. But prior to that, you probably would have never even thought about it. So, don't worry about what somebody else thinks about you. Make sure that you are good within yourself. Make sure that you are satisfied with yourself, improving yourself. You know how far you've come. You know what you've done. So, and you know what your part was in the divorce in the situation anyway. So, you should matter to you. What other people think shouldn't really matter until it's the significant other that you're trying to impress or trying to get in a relationship with. That person's going to matter. What they think of you is going to matter too, right? Because they're not going to get with you if they don't like you. So, you got to be likable and you got to kind of have that. But don't worry about what other people think. They're not involved or whatever. And who are they to throw stones? I mean, if you pull back the curtain on their life, you might find a lot back there that you never thought you might find. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about what they think. So let's jump over here to Relevant Key 4610. Says he was married for 15 years. He or she, it doesn't really say in this one, married for 15 years, together for 25. So it looks like they kind of was around each other together 10 years or whatever they decided to tie the knot, right? 15 years later, here we are. Says he's feeling stuck and torn. Anybody else been in this similar situation? I keep saying he because it's in the Divorced Men Reddit. So I think it's a dude. Maybe not. We'll see. Says, hi, Reddit. I'm in my early 40s, married for 15 years, and together with my partner for 25 years. We have 2 kids, one in their early teens and the other in their late single digits. By all external accounts, we have a beautiful, happy family life. The kids are thriving. We don't fight. We don't argue. And our home is safe and a loving place for them. So all these things look like they're good, right? You're not really experiencing a lot of hardship here, in the relationship. So let's see what he's saying is going wrong here. But inside, it feels like there's nothing left between us. There's no hate or resentment. It's just empty. The love we once had feels like it stopped existing. Conversations are minimal. Intimacy has been absent for years, and it feels like we're just coexisting as partners in parenting and life logistics. A huge part of me wants to just kick the door down and walk away without looking back. I feel like I'm living a life that no longer aligns with who I am or what I want. But then I look at the kids, right? So yeah, sometimes, we'll get up to our 40s or whatever, you get up to that area where you might start to have a little bit of a midlife crisis. I feel like my ex-wife had a midlife crisis, and that's why things ended up the way that they did. It's something that you just can't really explain. Like, I did a lot of research back then and about midlife crises. And it's funny because when I got into those forums and I started reading like the things that their spouses told them, man, like almost word for word, it was almost the same exact language that my ex used with me. And I'm like, okay, this is a real thing. Like, I thought it was really like the joke. Like you have a midlife crisis, you might get a mistress, you might get the little sports car or whatever, and you just kind of going through it, but this is a real thing. It's a real mentally based, disposition that a person has where they just feel like life is not fulfilling for them. And I think this person is experiencing the same thing. They're right in that age range where that starts to come about. Life is not exciting anymore. Part of this has to do, I think, with you reaching your goals. Now you got the house, you got your spouse, you got the kids, and you've been in it, and the excitement of getting that and the work that we do to get that and the fight that we go through to get that, all of a sudden, all of that's gone. We've gotten what we wanted, right? So at that point in time, you don't know what else to do because you didn't plan for what happens next. I think we just think like we're gonna get to this place and we're gonna be happy, and we should be. We should be. And I think sometimes we're in the struggle so long that we're not able to enjoy it once we actually win, right? That's a real problem. And so when my uncle was around, I kind of intimated that to him. I talked to him, and he was telling me, like, things in your life are going to change. You're going to be in a different position. You could be in a much greater position with the things that you're doing. And you're going to have to be able to navigate that. How you feeling about navigating that? He would talk to me about those things. And I'm like, you know what? I think about that a lot of times. Like, who am I when the struggle's over? When those problems are taken away, who do I become? Who am I? Because I'm so attached to the struggle of trying, working hard and putting in the work and trying to achieve. But who are you going to be when you actually achieve? That's a question that you should ask. I think this person is going through that right now. They've achieved what they wanted. They fought all the way here. And when they got here, they don't feel fulfilled because they're so used to struggling and fighting that there's no fight anymore. It's kind of like retired people, right? Like, a lot of people retire from their job. They've been there 30, 40, 50 years or something like that. They retire, and 2 or 3 years later, they're dead because they didn't have something in front of them to push them and for them to strive for. So I think the important thing here is that they got to create things to strive for. They're not having problems in the marriage. They're not arguing. They're not fighting or whatever. But that emptiness is because you don't have anything in front of you that's challenging you. And I think that they need to add some challenges. And maybe it's enjoyments too. Like, talk to your spouse, find out, like, hey, say, listen, I need to go do some things and I want to experience some things and I want to have some fun and I want to do this. These are the things that would actually fulfill me. These are the things that would challenge me. And I would like you to come on a journey with me, but I recognize that this may be something I have to do and I might have to do it myself. Not that you're breaking up the marriage, but that you're going to experience these things. Like, I might want to go sailing for 2 months or something. Whatever. Maybe he got a sailboat and he wants to go sailing for 2 months, and he knows, like, the wife and kids that's maybe not the safest thing for them, and maybe he don't want them to come along. They could decide, are we going to bring the kids along or am I going to go on my own? There's people that do that kind of stuff and they become fulfilled by it. It's a challenge in front of them or whatever. And hopefully the relationship survives that, maybe being gone, or maybe it doesn't require that. Maybe it's something like, the person likes baseball or they like jazz or something. You might want to buy tickets to the show or whatever, and be like, yo, come go to the show with me or whatever like that. And you guys go and have a good time, and as a spouse, maybe it's not your thing. Maybe baseball is not your thing. Whatever. But go and have fun with it. Go and have fun, cheer, jump up, cheer, whatever like that, and heckle, do whatever you got to do, to have fun for your partner so that your partner feels like you enjoyed it with him. And then, so now you've created a bond, right? You might find, like, oh, shoot, like, I can't wait till the next time I go, because maybe you're just not accustomed to it. You haven't done it before. So maybe you just haven't experienced it yet. Same thing with, like, experiencing foods and different things like that. It's like sometimes we think food is nasty, or might look at it and we might, I would never eat that or whatever. But sometimes you eat it and you realize, hey, I like that. That's kind of cool. That was the way I was with sushi. Like, we eat sushi regularly now, and it's like, before I'll be like, no, I ain't having none of that. So, that's just the way I was, but I had to experience it. So I think for them, since they're not having problems, they do have a couple of kids that are still young, a teenager, somebody, one that's adolescent, not quite in the teens yet. I think that you don't tear apart the marriage. I don't think you tear it apart if it's working. I just feel like you go and find some good things to do, to have fun. That's what I think. Find things that can challenge you, start something new that can rejuvenate the blood, maybe take your focus a little bit off the relationship not being exactly what you want, and then try to incorporate that into the relationship. We have to fulfill ourselves. If I'm not fulfilled, I'm not feeling great, I can't fill someone else, right? I can't fulfill anything for someone else if I don't feel like I can fulfill myself, so. And a lot of times people just automatically think that means, like, I got to break up the marriage, and that's what I mean when I say that, I say about women or whatever, but I think men is kind of the same way. It's like, you got to give people things to destroy. And if they don't destroy something and they don't have anything to destroy, doesn't mean, I don't mean it in a term of destruction all the time. I mean, it's like almost like construction, right? You might tear something down and rebuild it, like remodeling your house, or, maybe moving furniture around your house or whatever. Some people just need that action. They just need that movement. And they needed to kind of take something down in order to build it back up, and that's fulfilling to them. So that's what I think. I think that, maybe sometimes it's not the relationship itself that needs to be kind of torn apart. And you kind of got to tear apart your mind a little bit. Tear apart your mind and figure out what it is that challenges you and what might make you happy, and try to do those things. Incorporate those things, do those things, as long as it's not hurting your spouse, not hurting your family, not hurting your finances, not outside of your budget. You should be able to do that. Enjoy life. You're 40 years old. It's a great part of life. You've kind of got to that point where it's like, okay, if you live to 80, you could literally live every day that you've already lived up until this point again. You almost have your whole life ahead of you again at 40. So, you start getting up there, even 50 or whatever, like you're going to climb some more. You still got some climbing to do. And then you'll come down the backside or whatever, but we want you to come down the backside with a smile on your face. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like we kind of default to wanting to destroy the marriage, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think that we should just, work on ourselves, work on finding things that are good for us, work on things good for your life. And if you don't know what those things are, go out and experiment. The world is big. Travel, go look at things, go see something different. Take the kids with you, because now you can live for them. Show your kids something great. Take them to the lake, whatever. Not in Florida, because they got alligators and stuff. I'm saying, I think you like your kids. If you like your kids, don't take them to the lake in Florida. Take them to the beach. Take them to Daytona or something. But, even there, you got to be careful out there and stuff. So, but, take your kids places so that they experience things, and make sure that their life is rich. Take them to museums and stuff. There's lots of stuff, museums and things that they can go and witness and see or whatever that maybe the average kid may not see every day. Take them to do those things and get your joy through their joy, right? I think that's important. So we're going to move on from that. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments or whatever. How did you maybe overcome your midlife crisis? I think I overcame mine by just being here in Brazil. I think I kind of experienced it but didn't experience it, just because I had something so great and large in front of me, actually moving to a different country, learning a new language, learning cultures or whatever, trying to find love, starting businesses. I had so much in front of me that I didn't have time to really be in crisis. Like, life is crisis enough. I got so many things I got to do. I can't be thinking about this. So, I kind of went through it, and I got to experience different things. And like, coming here to Brazil for me was like being born again, because you got to think about it. I've never been here before. Every single thing that I laid my eyes on was like being a newborn baby. I've never seen this before. Nothing. Things are normal, like cars and buses and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I've seen those things before, but I've never seen it in Brazil. I've never seen the beaches here. I've never seen the water coming up on the beach. I've never seen Lemmy down here, whatever, with the kids jumping off the side or whatever there and into the water and stuff like that, and the sea turtles and all that stuff. These are things that I've never seen before. Everything that I've seen was like being a baby and being born again and seeing it for the first time. The world is a big place. Go do that. I'm telling you, you'll love it. I got a person that we used to work with, and she said she would never travel out of Florida. She hated to travel. She didn't love to travel at all, man. She took a trip. She got rid of the guy that she was with, and they kind of went through their situation after being together for a long time. She got with him young. She didn't have a lot of good experience or whatever. Let me turn that off. She didn't have a lot of great experiences or whatever with him. And so she jumped out there afterwards and started traveling. And now she traveled everywhere. So, so it was something she thought she didn't like. She turned out to love it, So, but like I said, it's like being a newborn baby. You just get rejuvenated. So let's take this last one. It says, what was the last fight? We're going to switch directions a little bit here from Let Maleficent 2095. Okay. Says the one that made the penny drop that you had to get a divorce. So, what was your last fight? A lot of men experience something called walk-away wife syndrome, where they see the divorce as coming out of the blue because the wife has stopped nagging them and getting angry. Really, she has disconnected and is planning her means to divorce. So, what was the last fight where you just knew it was time? Ain't always a fight though. Mine really wasn't a fight. You guys saw my personal story or whatever like that. It's here on the channel. It's the first video I did or whatever, so I'm not going to rehash it here. You can go back and watch that video and you can kind of find out like my experience and kind of where I came from. But we never fought like that. It just wasn't one of those things. You know, it wasn't one of those things where we just had a knockdown, drag out thing, and it's like, yo, this is it, this is the end or whatever. Matter of fact, even with the situation that we had, it was still calm. You know, I was calm about it, wasn't happy about it, but I was calm about it, trying to navigate it and find a better way to get through it or whatever, even together. She didn't want that, so we just kind of drifted off and did our thing. But sometimes there's that fight that goes down. So we're going to look and see in some of these comments, see what people went through. No Hope 75 says, our toddler nearly drowned. While I was trying to comfort the toddler, the husband stomped over and had a hissy fit that now he would have to watch the baby. I knew then we were done. I could never respect him or trust him again. His petty selfish desires would always matter more than anything or anyone else. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think I was ready for that. You know, I mean, there's a lot going on here. So good thing that the toddler turned out all right and didn't drown, because this is a thing that happens, right? If parents are not watching their kids, things can happen, and that's not what you want. So, you know, she was trying to comfort the toddler. The husband should really, you know, as husband and as men, as grown men too, not even just as a husband, we want to go over there and make sure the kid is all right. That's something that's, you know, it's a kid. You know, they're going to get into things. We got into stuff as kids or whatever. We got to make sure the kid is all right. That's the first thing, right? So to be thinking about yourself or whatever and being angry that you got to watch the child, what else are you out there to do? You, the husband, what else are you really out there to do except to watch your kid? They don't say whether it was a lake or it was a, you know, the ocean or a pool or whatever like that. But what was the husband really doing that he couldn't watch his child? Like, at what point do you not want to watch your kid? That's crazy. So yeah, I can see why that would end up being a fight or whatever. We're getting one side of the story here. Maybe he was mad. Maybe he wasn't mad about having to watch the kid. Maybe he was mad because she wasn't watching him and the kid almost drowned. And that sounds more plausible to me, but that's just me. You know, just reading into it. 'Cause I know how people try to like twist the story to make it sound like it was one thing and maybe it was and maybe it wasn't or whatever. I know how people try to twist that. So I just kind of look at it from both sides or whatever. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments or whatever and how that might go. Sorry about the sounds out here. This is a main thoroughfare here in Copacabana or whatever. One street over is the beach, but this one is a main thoroughfare as well. So we're going to have sirens and stuff like that sometimes. It is what it is. But yeah, so, you know, people was not happy about that. Vikram Betty says, the last fight for us wasn't about her affair, our dead bedroom, or any of the other stuff that was haunting us. It was about an Uber. All right, so let's find out why the Uber tore up, you know, the marriage. Let's see what happened. But I mean, sound like she was doing some other stuff, because homegirl was having affairs and not sleeping with her husband, and he said it was some other stuff. I'm like, damn, how much stuff it gonna be? That's enough right there. But she planned a nice birthday party for me, which was unusual. She's never really done anything for my birthday out on the town. Okay, so she planned an event out on the town. We went bar hopping after, and she hadn't planned a way for us to get home. Everyone else had a designated driver. No biggie, I said. I'll call an Uber and we can come back to get my car in the morning. Okay, that's smart. They didn't drive the car home. You know, applause for that. That's a good thing. For some reason, she doesn't want to do that. She suggests we should walk around downtown until we sober up. I pointed out that it was 2 a.m. and we had finished our drinks to leave the last bar. We were still getting drunk and wouldn't even start sobering up for a couple of hours. So, okay, she wants to sit in the car and pass out, then drive home when we wake up. I point out that even sitting in a car with it off can get you a DUI if you have the keys with you. I'm not gonna do that. All right, I can see how this is going already. You can already see how this is shaping up or whatever. Somebody inebriated, not thinking right or whatever, not able to reason, and maybe being a person that might kind of be combative and not really interested in listening all the time, right? Some people they don't like ideas unless it's their idea, right? So she's presenting all this other stuff, which doesn't seem like it makes sense. It sounds like it makes sense to take an Uber home, come back and get your car. That sounds like it makes sense. She wants to walk around downtown at 2 a.m. That's probably not a smart idea because you could get robbed or something going on. Something bad could happen to you at 2 a.m. in the morning. Ain't nobody out after 2 but the devil. So you don't want to be around when he show up. So then she wants to just sit in the car. Why don't she want to leave? That don't make no sense. So I think maybe we're going to find out. Who knows? But why don't she want to leave that area? Something's not right. She says, so I call an Uber figuring she'd come to her senses. She has my keys and I ask for them back. She refuses to give my keys back and proceeds to climb into the passenger seat with them and close her eyes. I stood around for a while trying to figure out what to do. I didn't want to wait there in the cold for hours. It was February. But also couldn't get in the car and didn't want to leave my drunk wife passed out in public like that. Finally, I just told her I was leaving and I wish she would come with me. She opened her eyes and said no, so I got in the Uber and went home. 20 minutes later, she swerved the car down our driveway, still drunk, blackout drunk, as it turned out later. Later, when we were talking about what happened, she punched me and broke my nose, then went to bed. Yeah, this probably was gonna be the last fight. I can't say this one. This is not for me to save. Yeah, she when she drinks, she does not have any sense. She's a person that does not need to drink in public. Sounds like she has maybe more of a deeper issue. It doesn't sound like this is the first time she's ever drank. Maybe that's why she set the birthday situation up to go out on the town and drink because that's what she wanted to do. Maybe it wasn't even about his birthday like that. It sounded like something she wanted to do and he got caught in it and now he's dealing with the aftermath because she's not making any sense. And then she has the keys and she drives the car home, risking the lives of other people, risking her own life, and risking getting a DUI. Messing the car up in the process and probably the license, driver's license and everything else and the costs that come with that. And she's driving the car drunk. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So she says later when we talked about what had happened, she punched me and broke my nose. And then she gets angry about it. So now she's got anger issues on top of that. She's not a rational thinking person. She can't make decisions because she's inebriated. I doubt that even if she wasn't inebriated, that she would have been cooperative because of the way that she is, and the alcohol just enhanced that about her. And now you got a relationship that's going to break up that probably should break up for his sake because he don't need that. He moved into the guest bedroom the next night, ostensibly because my broken nose made me snore too much, and I didn't want to wake her. That was your concern? I wonder where. You got a broken nose. She can't deal with a little bit of snoring? When she broke your nose? Man, she'd have been lucky to be in. Anyway, yeah. And 2 weeks later, told her I wasn't moving back and she had to make plans to move out. So this is wild, toxic. This is crazy. But people go through it. That's why we talk about it on this channel. We tell some jokes and we laugh and stuff like that. But a situation like this is real serious. This is domestic violence. This is, this is DUI activity. We ain't feeling that. We can't get down like that or whatever. I'm saying if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, and especially if you don't got kids or whatever, you need to get away from that person because that person means no good for you. They're not going to do anything good for you in your life. You got to be able to let go. I think we had a video about that yesterday talking about being able to just let go. So, yeah, this ain't cool. This ain't cool at all. I can see why this was the last fight. You got to get away from somebody like that. And hopefully your situation is not like that. But you guys might want to comment and tell us what your last fight was like. Or what straw broke the camel's back in your relationship. So I'm gonna jump out of here. I'm about to go get me something to eat. What time is it? Wow, it's already 2:12 in the afternoon. Sent my lady some money. They out on the beach, her and her beautiful friend that she brought to the house yesterday. They done went out to the beach or whatever, and they gonna get them a couple little drinks or whatever on the beach and chill out, take some sun or whatever. So it should be all right. So once again, it's the Big D Show, Divorce News Daily. Thanks for checking us out. Like, subscribe, and we'll holler at you soon. Peace.
Can a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad. I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad. I'm back.